Hi everyone, welcome. We're your team here at the Urban Herald, and like always, we're taking the stack of sources, articles, notes, you name it, and really digging in. Our mission, to pull out the absolute key insights for you. Think of it as your shortcut, basically, to getting properly informed without wading through everything yourself, just the important stuff. Today, we're diving deep into The Conjuring Last Rites. And look, this isn't just another sequel. It feels like a really pivotal moment for horror, kind of the end of an era for this massive franchise.
Absolutely. It's defined so much of modern supernatural horror, hasn't it?
It really has. So we're going to unpack, its significance, dig into the absolutely chilling real-life case it's supposedly based on.
The Smurl haunting, yeah. Wild story.
Exactly, and talk about Ed and Lorraine Warren, their legacy, which is, well, complicated sometimes, and then what happens next? What's the future for the Conjuring universe?
Right, after the Warrens take their final bow, so to speak.
So yeah, get ready. It should be a fascinating conversation. We'll hit some surprising facts, key insights, all designed to get you totally up to speed. Okay, let's kick off with The Conjuring Last Rites itself. Its place in cinema, it's being positioned as way more than just another scarefest, right? It's the end, the closure.
Definitive closure, that's the term they're using. After, what, over a decade?
Yeah, since 2013. And the official title is The Conjuring 4 Last Rites. Put this on your calendar. September 5, 2025, that's the release date we have.
And Warner Bros., they've been super clear. This is it for Ed and Lorraine Warren on screen.
The final cinematic outing.
Yeah. They've been the heart, the emotional anchor of this whole thing. It's not just about the scares. It's about them, their faith, their relationship.
That's so true. And Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, they're back for this one last time. Their swan song, as people are calling it.
Which is huge. Their chemistry is the soul of these main Conjuring films. It's what makes you care.
Totally. So for fans who've been there since James Wan kicked it all off, it's definitely a bittersweet moment. A big goodbye. Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The real-life case behind the Last Rites. The Smurl haunting from 1986.
Oh, yeah. This one's intense.
You might know the name, but the details.
Yeah.
This Pennsylvania family, the Smurls, they went through hell. Over a decade of relentless, well, supernatural torment.
Just relentless. We're talking strange noises, things moving, but also really violent physical attacks.
Yeah.
And this constant feeling, this presence of something deeply malevolent.
And what really elevates the Smurl case and why it's maybe perfect for a final film is that element of failure, or maybe a lack of complete resolution.
Exactly. It's reportedly one of the very few cases where the Warrens just couldn't fully get rid of the entity, couldn't banish it completely.
Wow.
Yeah. So it leaves this shadow, these unanswered questions, this sort of lingering fear. It poses that really chilling question, What if the evil just digs in, refuses to leave?
That adds a whole other layer of dread. And the sources mention the human side, too, the non-supernatural struggles, like the church being reluctant to actually approve an exorcism.
Right.
Yeah.
Which apparently just made the family feel even more isolated. It pushed them into the media spotlight, probably adding a whole different kind of trauma onto the paranormal stuff.
You can only imagine how helpless they must have felt. Which I guess leads us nicely into talking about the Warrens themselves, Ed and Lorraine. Before the movies.
Long before Hollywood. They were real figures, pioneers in the paranormal field back in the day. Ed, the self-taught demonologist.
Right. Not formally trained, but deeply knowledgeable in his view.
And Lorraine, the clairvoyant. Gifted, as many described her. They documented dozens and dozens of cases.
And their approach was this really unique mix, wasn't it? Deep Catholic faith combined with this almost fearless drive to confront the unknown.
Absolutely. Faith and investigation. Their legacy, it's this complex mix, like you said, faith, terror, but also this enduring mystery about what's really out there.
And, I think the franchise tapped into that so well. It's not just ghosts jumping out. It's about how this stuff preys on family, on faith, on our deepest fears and vulnerabilities. That resonates.
That's spot on. And it's why Wilson and Farmiga's performances work so well. It's not just acting. There's this alchemy between them.
Yeah, alchemy's a good word.
It gives the films real humanity, makes the supernatural feel grounded, personal, somehow more real because you believe in them.
Definitely. Their portrayal lets us invest in these terrifying situations. You follow them from the Perone farmhouse in the first movie all the way to, say, the Enfield poltergeist case in the second one.
And those cases, the real-life ones they tackled that inspired the films, they really became the pillars of this whole universe.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about a few key ones. Annabelle. Can't not talk about Annabelle.
Nope. The doll, Looks so innocent, kind of creepy innocent, but with this absolutely terrifying backstory.
Became a total pop culture thing, got its own spin-off movies, probably made everyone look twice at old dolls.
I know I did.
And then, going back to the start, the Perron family. That first haunting. Rural Rhode Island, family under siege. That really set the template, the tone for everything.
It established that family in peril core,
Yeah.
grounded in real fear. But for me, the one that maybe cemented the Warrens' reputation on screen was Enfield.
The UK case?
Yeah, the Enfield poltergeist.
Mm.
Nasty stuff. Flying furniture, those voices, apparitions. It was relentless. Showed what the Warrens were up against, their persistence.
Okay, so The Conjuring 4 wraps things up for the Warrens. This marks the end of what people are calling Phase 1 of the Conjuring universe.
Right, like Marvel does phases. This first phase, 9 films now, and over $2 billion at the box office, which is just staggering for horror.
It really is. So the big question now is, what happens next? A new era. Phase 2.
Exactly. Does someone new step up, new investigators, or does the focus shift completely to the spin-offs? The Nun, Annabelle. They're successful in their own right.
Well, we know there's that Max streaming series in development that definitely hints they want to keep this world going, maybe explore it more broadly.
Yeah, bigger canvas. And the speculation about Phase 2 is really interesting. Will they dig into more obscure Warren cases?
Yeah.
Maybe go full anthology, different stories each time?
Or introduce a new generation. Pass the torch.
Could be any of those. Lots of possibilities to keep the scares coming, just maybe without the Warrens anchoring it in the same way.
And the fans, naturally, have tons of theories about Last Rites. People are hoping it ties up loose ends from earlier films, maybe explains where some of these entities actually come from.
Oh yeah, the origin stories. Fans love that stuff. It's a big moment for them, wanting that satisfying conclusion, but also maybe hints of what's next.
But the fact we're even talking about Phase 2 shows how popular this franchise still is. Why do you think it endures so well?
I think it's that balance you mentioned earlier. Terror, yes, but also heart. Plus, a commitment to practical effects where possible, good storytelling. It feels authentic.
Real scares, not just jump scares.
Exactly. And you can't underestimate its impact on streaming either. It proved that well-made, story-driven horror has a huge audience online, not just in theaters.
That's a great point. It really showed the studios the potential there. And thinking broader, how has the Conjuring universe changed horror overall?
Well, it definitely pushed back against the sort of torture porn trend for a while there. It prioritized atmosphere, that slow-building dread, meticulous world building, too.
And always leaning on that based on a true story angle, even when heavily fictionalized, it adds that extra little chill.
It does. Think about the first film, The Perron Farmhouse. The use of shadow, sound design. It's all about creating that oppressive atmosphere, less about what you explicitly see.
It definitely influenced a wave of other supernatural films trying to capture that vibe. So boiling it down, the winning formula, what are the key ingredients?
Okay, number 1, atmosphere over gore. We talked about that. Suspense, practical effects, letting your imagination do the work.
Yeah.
The themes, religion, family, faith. It taps into something deeper. The power of love, belief, resilience against darkness. Gives it weight.
Makes it more than just a ghost story.
Precisely. And 3, strong performances. Wilson and Farmiga are the obvious example, but the casting across the board usually brings real commitment. They make you believe it.
And culturally, it's definitely made the Warrens household names again, sparked interest in paranormal investigation, loads of podcasts, documentaries.
Oh, absolutely. It reignited that whole fascination.
That phrase, based on a true story, it really hits different after these movies, doesn't it?
It really does. Never felt so chilling or weirdly compelling.
So wrapping up our deep dive here as your Urban Herald team, The Conjuring Last Rites feels like much more than just a movie. It's a real marker, the end of a chapter that genuinely shaped horror for this generation.
A testament to the Warren story, both the real and the cinematic versions.
Yeah, and a reminder that these stories, when they tap into faith, love, courage, they stick with you long after the movie's over.
And thinking about that final case, the Smurl haunting, the one Last Rites, is based on the fact that the Warrens reportedly couldn't fully win that one, couldn't completely banish the evil.
Yeah.
That really leaves you thinking.
It does.
So here's something for you, the listener, to chew on. When that final case closes, the credits roll, but what if the evil doesn't actually leave? Like in the Smurl case, what does it really mean to endure something like that? And is faith on its own always enough against that kind of persistent darkness?